I was going to journal, but then I thought, you know what? Let's just record. That'll get all the thoughts out of my head. I didn't get to record last week because I decided last minute to go to a show, which I'll talk about. And we'll talk about this week and everything that's going on over here at the Men of the House podcast. Yes. So,
Let's go. Asteroid of fear.
welcome to another episode of the Men of the House podcast, and it is Unfiltered Friday. And we're going to talk about life and the feeling of overwhelm a little bit. But we're going to talk about fun too. Superchargers, rechargers. Well, you didn't get an episode last week because I was out recharging. Yeah, 32,000 steps worth. Over at Next Level University, they talk about, what are your superchargers? What are the things that refresh you? Because it's so easy to get bogged down in work. And I mean, we've got everything going on all at once, you know, from oh, soon to be grandparents, um, school trips, where I'm now a chaperone because we're soon to be grandparents. And my wife is not going because she wants to stay uh, and see her first grandchild be born. I don't blame her. All like around Mother's Day time frame. But I am excited to get to go to DC and New York with my daughter. Um, it's been a while since I've been to both. The 2000s, probably mid. And yeah, it should be exciting. A lot of walking, which, I think the hardest part for me will be as a chaperone. And I actually got my daughter's group, which is cool. Um, Even though it's a group of girls, four girls, and like I told the moms, hey, I'm comfortable. I have all daughters. Managed a clinic where it was predominantly female staffed. Yeah, you know, I feel like I know more what to do than I would know what to do with teenage boys. That would be difficult for me. That would be hard to manage, I think. I'm more afraid of that, actually. I don't know why. But maybe it's just the protector in me. I'm naturally used to being out with my family, which is, when it's all of us and we travel. And growing up, it's been three daughters and a wife and me. So it's kind of the norm. I'm that's what I'm accustomed to and I'm comfortable with. And so I'm pretty stoked to get to go and see what everything's like. I haven't been to DC in a while, and um, definitely think it's important for the kids to see some of the monuments and some of the history that hasn't changed. Should history change? I mean, it's called history, right? It should be like it is what it is. But in the day and age that we live in, history's written by the winners, correct? What's true, what's not, what's a narrative, what's swayed. I don't know. It's not what we focus on over here at the Men of the House. We do focus on truth, though, and that is part of truth. So, um, I think if nothing else, it, it'll be good to see. Hopefully, everything's cool. There's no protest or riots or whoever designs these trips. I'm sure will keep us as safe as they can. Um, Certainly, they have a plan, but who knows? I wouldn't be so certain. I hear like other podcasters, like a Andy Stump type, like a yeah. Now you don't want to outsource your preparedness, what you can do. But unfortunately, I'm traveling with a group of children on a plane, and yeah, I can't bring my everyday carry that I normally carry around with me. So we won't get into that. Hmm. Fuck around and find out if you like. But yeah, we'll keep it a secret. However, let's get back to these superchargers, rechargers. Last Friday, I made a last minute executive decision to go to a show. I went and saw the Supervillains, Ballyhoo, and Bumpin' Uglies. I'd never seen Bumpin' Uglies, seen the Supervillains, but hadn't seen them at least since 2015, since Austin, and saw Ballyhoo last year. But great venue, used to be Ferris Wheeler's Barbecue, and it is now AM/FM something or other, but good venue, nice setup, and had some friends, met Alex there, and my best friend Andrew decided to show up, which was cool. So it was it was just fantabulous, actually. Um, it rocked. Got some dancing in, got some steps, got to relieve some stress, connect with people. Um, it was tax time and kind of everything else. I've been like stuck in this office, and I think like last week I spent like 2 days Ubering, but like long days. So you're kind of getting a little connection there, but not a lot. And then some of the other days spending doing X, Y, and Z here in the office. And um, again, I get a little cooped up. I need people. I actually, yeah. But, I also get to go out and go to the gym. So, I do get some outings. But, yeah. So I was like thinking of the gym. I'm like, also my knee has been like a little, for 2 weeks, felt a little loose. And if you know me, I walk every day and a lot. And so that's kind of been a little bit of a bummer and been wearing a brace. Got that checked out this week and ended up just a little synovial fluid in there. So some swelling, a little pain, taking some ibuprofen, get the inflammation down. But that brings me to that point of like, hey, it's, you know, not long from now, I got 5 to 10 miles a day of walking with the youth and managing their expectations. So I got to be on point. So I got to make sure my knee is good to go. And I did exercise today, and felt pretty good. So yeah, just continue taking the ibuprofen. Still icing it, ricing it, rest ice, compression elevation. Although I'm laying off the compression, kind of with the you know sleeve thing I had, it kind of felt like it would make it worse. Because I didn't wear it the night I went out to the show, and yeah, the next day I was laid up. I think there's a picture of me on Instagram. I just sat in the office and iced the knee all day and recovered because I wasn't used to the late night, which I've now had like a couple, 2 weeks like leading in. Um, yeah, because as I'm recording this the night before, yeah, I'm on like less than 3 hours of sleep at the moment. So we're trying to get this done. It's been a long one, and but it's been good, you know. And we'll talk a little bit about it. But like it's the final weeks of doula training. I am behind. And my computer, like my iMac, is kind of, I need a new one. It's at an age where it's starting to slow down. And once Macs get like, I think 8 to 10 years old ish, they stop selling the replacement parts. And yeah, it's time to get a new one. And so I've been cleaning it up, but I'm waiting for an external drive to come in for my doula training so I can put all my downloads there and, print what's necessary. But, it's just this thing, even when I was trying to like save some of the files and organize them, it wasn't popping up like correlating right. And so I was using my MacBook over here. You can see it's newer, faster. Um, but I'm not ready to give up the iMac. I love it. And yeah, so yeah, it's you put all these things together and shake them up, and it's ugh, you know. And then having this existential crisis of turning 50 in a couple of months, and I think I talked about this before, but I guess in some cultures, they say at 50, it's you kind of start downsizing, winding down for the tail end of your life or whatever it is, and I think about that, but I think about it in terms of, um, yes, I mean, you want less things like 50 years old, like, how much shit do you need? Like, there's some albums. I have this one tote of like journals and a few things that I've always kept. That's enough. Outside of that, like my office, my books, like most of the things that are important to me are in a concentrated little area, and it's all like over here. Where there's like pictures of my family, my Kyle Smith posters, because those are memories. Um, my little Bill Murray stripes, Funko Pop, shelf full of books. Um, Adding now the massive album from the Supervillains, but not just the massive album. Fucking signed by Scart and the giant Supervillains fuck you finger in the background, thumb finger that Scart signed. And I got some pictures um, that I'll post up, maybe some footage. But yeah, when you think about it, I'm like, shit, man, it's 2026. And I was like, we left Austin in 2015, but we showed up and Scar's got this beard and he's got like the gray patches in it. And I'm like, oh, fuck, dude. I'm like, he's got gray in his beard. I'm like, oh, he's getting old. We're getting old. Fuck. What's going on? What's going on here? But still out there, I don't know. I don't feel old. Um, the music still moves me. I still was out there enjoying myself quite thoroughly. I mean, it was just killer. Um, and it caused me to go back and like re-listen to some supervillain albums and mm, good stuff. Good stuff. So yeah, last week ended kind of that way, which was great, pretty phenomenal. And Scart said he'll come on the podcast. Yeah, so super stoked. Um, I've also been replying to some emails, just saying yes, I am interested. These are like non-pod match. I kind of paused that for a moment, but I am hoping, like in the summer, I would like to get back into interviewing. Um, that's where I'm the happiest. It's what I enjoy the most is connecting with others, finding out their story, getting their perspective, and I need to be doing more of that. Um, but yeah, just have to. We'll have to be waking up and driving to school every day, so that'll help. Be kind of the summer plan, working interviews, and but yeah, oh. Just thinking about the amount of stuff I got to do. It's like, oh, I got a whiteboard behind me. You really can't see it. If you're watching, you can kind of see the corner of it, but slowly checking shit off. Just trying to work on it day by day by day. But these late nights, but you got to have it, you know. I don't know. I hadn't been to a show since November, since I saw Kyle Smith. My dad and I drove up, did the VIP. That was in November, November 20th at 25. And so, yeah, till April 26th or 24th, whatever day the show was, I think 24th. You know, that is my music always has been. Going to shows, people, connection, like I come alive, like a whole different person. Like the internet does not do me justice at all. Meeting me in person is way different. I would say I'm more animated. Um, if you're, yeah, if you're interesting, I guess. If you're good at conversations or, you know, unless I'm irritated, unless you're a mouth breather, then you may not like me. I probably won't look so animated, or I might look animated, but just in a different way. Maybe with a little, yeah. But yeah, I feel like that's where the true me comes out in kind of in this office. I can get stuck between ideas, the head, existential bullshit, thinking about life. Um, I don't even want to watch the news. Try to stay away from that. Just like a 30,000 foot view of like nobody's, you know, mostly local, but yeah, a few touch points that could impact me. Just try to be aware of them, but try not to overly dive too deep into them and focus on what I need to do. And speaking of last minute things, so yeah, that was the thing. That's what it was. I actually wanted to take my daughter to go see Kyle Smith in November. However, it wasn't in all ages due to the Deep Ellum Company. But I wanted to take her, do the VIP and all that. She's never been to a show. And, but instead I took my dad, which was awesome. We had a great time. Um, this one, the venue was all ages. And I was asking my daughter, she still hasn't been to a show. And I'm like, hey, do you want to go see Ballyhoo, Bumping Uglies, and the Supervillains? And she was kind of iffy. Then it was like, no. And I was like, well, mm. But then I knew my friend Alex was going. I was like, my wife encourages me, my dad, like, you know, like you're stressed out, you're overwhelmed, you need to go. And so it was like a couple hours before the show, or before I would have to leave, since I have to drive a couple hours. Bought a ticket, and yeah, and it was everything I needed. I felt alive again. But then I had a little dip. I don't know what that dip was. You know, just so much going on in life. I think like, you know, my wife and I were both like individually overwhelmed in different areas. Um, and we understand, but I think we got to like learn to lean in with each other and be like, hey, like, what can I help you with? Or, hey, how can we just reassure each other that this too shall pass? Um, we'll get through it like everything else. One step at a time. You can only do what you can do. Most important things first. People aren't going anywhere. Death doula's not going anywhere. It's just going to take more time, but it happens. You know, we work in between. We serve others. Part of me wanting to get this done is I want to spend time with my wife this evening. Even though we got to spend a lot of time together last night, but it's important. And, you got to have more of that. It's got to be intentional. We got to put the phones away. You can do that for a last hour of the day. I think I talked a couple episodes ago about no phone for the first hour. Man, that's fucking hard. I am unsuccessful. But if I can get the nighttime, maybe that'll help the sleep. But, looking at connection mostly overall. We've been together 20 years, and for our daughter now, who's 12, is more self reliant. So we have time to be with each other, and it's kind of like, yeah. And we're trying to do stuff together and together, together, together. And, you know, we have to connect. It has to be intentional, which is why I'm intentionally doing this. But serving others, she's out serving others at the moment. That's why she's going to be home late. She takes a lady to go tan. But this makes this lady happy, and, all she needs is a ride a couple of times a week, and she pays her for it. And, but with tanning places, you don't really know if it's going to be full when they get there, so you don't know how long it's going to be. And, but a lot of times too, they want the companionship. I mean, just like one of the gentlemen that my wife and I care for, like she does a lot of the cleaning, and I'll take him to his appointments. When I see chunk bars, that's his favorite as a kid. I grab a couple, and I had to go over, and I was going to take them to him today. And then, usually he's got some requests, and hey, it's like he needs a new ID for the VA and stuff. And so we got all that set up and some other stuff, just, stuff that he is unable to do without assistance. And that's how I spent a couple hours of my afternoon. And before I went to go get my daughter. And, it's kind of one of those things you can kind of plan, kind of not. You kind of have to go with the flow. You don't want to make them feel in a hurry. You want to make sure. And, um, and there's a balance of going, hey, like, we got to make time for each other, but we're also serving others, and we're aligned with that. It's like, yes, I'd much rather, I wish she was home right now, and I wish I wasn't recording and that we were cuddled up in the bed watching a movie or something, eating ice cream. However, that's not how our day went. And that's not what is. And it's already kind of late by the time I edit this. Not edit it, just get it up. um, yeah, you know, it'll be tomorrow and off the day, but we might have some time to spend tomorrow. However, kind of the main part was we had another last minute last night was my wife wanted to go see Mel Robbins live on tour. And, you know, she's not like into podcasting like I am. And so, like, we've had this back and forth of like, she does like Mel. I have Mel. We've listened to Mel. Sometimes I'll find some episodes that I think are relatable to both of us. And also, Mel was the first time I ever heard Death Doula, which was, I knew the concept of what I wanted is that nobody should die alone, but I just didn't know how to facilitate or what I was pursuing until I heard that word. And, I was kind of in a funk in the earlier of the week. And my wife's like, "Do you want to go see Mel Robbins?" And I thought she was just kind of cheer me up because I'm into podcasting and stuff. And then it was like, I guess she was on tour, and my wife, just like the things she doesn't know about me, we've been together for 20 years. She's like, "Oh, yeah, me and Ben, her best friend, like, we love Mel. And, or we've always liked her." And I'm like, "Okay, I didn't know you were a fan. So you do know what podcasts are. You do know what I'm trying to achieve here. Okay." Um, but man, what was it? I feel like the night before was busy too. Like we have had these late night, weird nights, up in the middle of the nights. Um, the weather's been wonky, sleep's been off. We've been traveling, all kinds of stuff. So the days are kind of confusing, but we somehow, my wife was like, um, oh, the question was going to be like coordinating. If we were to go to this event, like I would have to meet her like from one of her jobs. I would have to leave my car. We would have to travel, leave by a certain time to make the event. And, you know, logistically challenging, which also meant asking my mother to pick up my daughter. And so that was kind of like a iffy thing. And we were like late to it because I think we've had these late nights with these meetings where I found out I'm going to be a chaperone. Yeah, that meeting that took us late. So yeah, we've had these late evenings, and so that was kind of. I woke up yesterday, or when my wife was like telling me bye or something, she was like, "Give me a kiss." She goes, "And your mom's gonna pick up Sophie." And usually that means like, "Hey, my mom's going into physical work, like to proctor exams or something, and I need to be with the dog all day. And if I go, like, I'll take the dog to my dad, Sugar, because my mom doesn't like leaving her alone too much unless it's in passing." And so I was like under that impression, and my sleep's been off, where I'm having like 3 or 4 hours and up for an hour or two, and then 3 or 4 hours, then maybe a nap. And when I woke up, I saw my mom, and I'm like, "Wait, you're not you didn't go to work?" She's like, "No." And I was like, "Oh, but are you going? Aren't you going to pick up Sophie?" And she's like, "No, Gabby said something about you guys going to an event." And I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Okay." I had kind of looked at the tickets and I knew it was doable and all that. And apparently, so we, yeah, again, several hours before we would have to leave, I was purchasing tickets to go to an event. And, what did I do? Got us a pizza to go. We like left my car at this grocery store. We got on the road. She did her makeup in the car. We ate all that jazz. Got to the event, and it was it was good. It's like I don't know how much to say. I don't want to say too much. Like you should attend it. I think, or if there's one online or something that she wants to do. But you know, for me, I'll tell you maybe what I experienced or what it was for me. Um, Not so much the format, because I think that's like less relevant, you know? I'm not here trying to sell you anything. I'll put it to you that way. How about that? It was it was good. There was so much about it that I could kind of resonate with. Approaching 50 and kind of her story at 52, me wanting to work with, bring Sophie kind of into the fold. And her daughter Sawyer wrote a book. And, um, the husband's a death doula. That's on par. Um, of like building this little ecosystem of us serving through well, one, I got a sign over here. It says perspective changes everything, and it's like a frowny face emoji with like two dots, and depending on which way you look at it, it's either frowny or smile. The show about perspective. When you're helping people that cannot help themselves, that gives you an awful lot of perspective. And I think that's why I enjoy it so much, because then I get to feel grateful. That kind of sounds bad. I get to feel grateful at their expense. That's uncool. But I care, you know. Or else, why would I, when I'm at CVS picking up ibuprofen for my knee and I see some chunk bars, because you don't see them everywhere, and I know I can make his day a little bit better, you know? And then, we've got everything set up for next week, some appointments and whatnot. And so I feel good about what I do. It's fulfilling to me. But along with that, I would definitely like to podcast more. I would like to have a studio. I would like to interview guests, um, because it's all about perspective, um, and continue to, you know, kind of merge the death doula into stories and legacy things for people who are transitioning, and of course the caregivers, because ultimately the doula is there to support the caregiver. And with us having been caregivers for Buck, I mean, it is very difficult. But being that extra set of eyes and ears, um, a voice of reason, reassurance, there to meet people where they are. And I'm telling you, when you come across people who like really need your help, and you know that, and um, even if they're, a little not feeling the best, for me, my empathy kicks in, and all my bullshit can go out the window, and I'm not thinking about me because I'm serving. I mean, I know for a fact, like, connection and serving is the only way for me to not go crazy. Then I'm just trying to bring my family into it more, because I think they get it, kind of. They understand the better connected I am, the better man I am, which means the better husband, father, son, all that stuff. But if I'm disconnected, man, I am. mm, And I don't know what I get disconnected about. Maybe it's a doubt. I don't know. And being there at that event, seeing that, approaching 50, seeing her story start at like 52 or whatever. I'm not $800,000 in debt like she was, so I'm fucking ahead. Right? She would say that. She would probably say, "You're goddamn right." I could hear her saying that. But man, it it's possible. The thrill is going to come from turning this into something like that, and the work that it takes and the satisfaction you get from the process of doing it. And at the end of it, it's like you rip a paper out of this journal you get, and they say like, if $1 million showed up in your account tomorrow, what would you do? You know, like, because you do these exercises. Would you do this plan B thing? Would you do, you know, whatever? For me, I would, the only thing I would do is I would have the capital to go have a studio, a Sprinter van, and take my daughter and travel, and my wife, and travel around all 50 states and different countries, interviewing people, especially transitioning, doing death doula stuff, learning about other cultures, how they view death, and what kind of traditions and processes and things they have. And because that's life, like understanding what other people, how they grow up, and how their culture, their beliefs shape what, they do at the end of life, and how it's celebrated, and um, going further into that, but then also incorporating the podcast and travel with it. And because I think that's the best education for my daughter, is like I want her to finish this art school, and then I really don't want to go into public high school. I'd rather get in a van and me and my wife go and take care of people, meet people where they are, and podcast and get perspectives and put stories out there, especially with AI. Um, I wouldn't change anything. I think I'm kind of doing what I want. I just need to scale it up. That's all. More people just need to know about me. More people just need to go listen to my shit. So if you know them, send them over, like, subscribe, and share. I mean, I think my interviews are pretty good. They could be better. I need to do more, but I need more time. I just got to get out this fucking window, man. It's rough. It's rough, but I can do it. And I think last night just, yeah, showed me what was possible. I actually cried. It's kind of hard to admit. It was like almost uncontrollable. I didn't ask for it, didn't try, didn't. It just like whatever something was that touched an emotion in me that rang something of like man, especially right because before we recorded, my daughter was in here talking to me, and like as she gets older, she learns more things, and like learning my godfather was an outlaw motorcycle person. um, Other things that I worked at a mixed martial arts training facility, and um, you know, she's like, I know, or that my dad was a Gold Glove boxer, state champ, and boxed in the army. And she's like, what? My grandpa? That guy? I'm like, yeah. And so, yeah. And so I could understand when she was like, those of you who like have your kids, live with your kids, live near your kids, like I envy you, because I guess her daughter moved to New York. And I could get that because we're, you know, yeah, you want to be as close as possible. So yeah, I just need more scale. So we can go bigger. We can incorporate everyone, get the family involved. Or, allow it to platform them to offshoot and do something meaningful and worthwhile. As long as it's good, positive for humanity. But at the end, you you write down your dreams and you don't give it to the person next to you. You give it to a stranger, somebody you're not sitting next to. And then you go around and proceed to do this 5 exchanges. And so I got somebody's dream, and you're supposed to read their dream and wish them well. And then as my wife and I were taking pictures as we left, I saw somebody else's dream on the floor. So somebody dropped a dream, and so I picked up somebody's dream and saved it. Because that's the kind of person I am. You know, whose fucking job is it to pick up the glove when you walk by it when you work at the hospital? If you see it, everybody, yours. Fucking pick it up. So, I don't know. Like my thing is like if you're gonna go in, go all in. If you're gonna participate, participate. Like, I don't know. It's kind of uncool that hopefully you dropped it on purpose. Hopefully you didn't intentionally throw away somebody else's dream. You wouldn't like that if it were yours. So, I don't know whose dreams these are, but we're gonna read them and we're gonna wish them well. One of them is have my own marketing agency, be a model, and be part of fashion. Hmm, definitely doable. And this one looks like workout studios and showing praise. Definitely doable. So I'm going to keep those. And I don't know who those belong to, but I pray that you figure out the steps that those dreams become the byproduct of those steps. Um, enjoy the journey. Ask what the suffering is teaching you. Been watching a lot of Arthur Brooks lately. My man Scotty G turned me on to him, and yeah, because man, I had a rough few days. I needed that outlet. I needed that connection. I needed that time with my wife. I'm glad we went. Glad we did something kind of spontaneous and something we both wanted to do. And it obviously provoked some sort of emotion in me. But I don't approach 50 now. Like, I mean, she was 52 and $800,000 in debt. I'm, I'm 50, not even yet, and not $800,000 in debt. So the world is my oyster. We can do this. We can do this. Just got to keep putting in the reps, getting better. One chunk at a time, one episode at a time, one day at a time, one moment at a time. So until next time, go and be the person you want to meet. Peace.
Let go. Asteroid of fear.